Welcome back to Tactics Talk with Guido. On this episode, I have a low-tier ace mastery. We have LpBronco. He's in his Chi-Ha, Japanese Tier 3 medium tank. He's in a 5-10 on Cliff, and they have spawned into the south spawn. I don't do a lot of low-tier games for lots of reasons, but for some of you who are new to the game or still grinding through some of the lower tiers, this may prove helpful. And he has a pretty good game in here with an ace tanker. Why don't I do a lot of the lower tier games? Well, they have limited value. A lot of times the metas are very different in low tiers. It's kind of just a rage around and blast things. And as a pretty good example, you're going to see that LP is really sitting back right here. This is not a bad idea at low tiers in order to not get rushing forward and machine gunned down by all the rapid firing guns, relatively low hit pools that are going on at the lower tier. So he sees a B2 and he starts working that guy over. Pretty typical spot for newer players to go. Pretty awful spot most of the time for most players. You can see that the B1's just driven up into the donut right here. Meta-wise on this game, getting up into that donut where the B1 is and then heading up the ramp right here at about E3 is a great spot to be to get shots on guys over here by shooting them in the side from the ramp right there. Problem with going straight for that in a low tier game like this is you could have had 8 tanks drive right up this 1-2 line and you'd have just been shredded, or you could have 3 or 4 hiding where the B1 is. You just never know exactly how it's going to go down. And while that's always a danger even on the higher tier games, it's probably worth being a little bit more careful down on the lower tier. Now I hesitate to say that just a little bit because what I don't want people to take away from that is that you camp on the cap and you just stay there, or you hide behind everyone or a rock the entire game and then you come out at the end and try to clean up. That's not what I'm saying at all, but you can see that with a little bit of being careful, he's able to take that guy down, and now he's moving up into the more meta position. And as he is a relatively experienced player, he knows where he wants to go. He's going to get up there where that Panzer IIB is and start working on. It's not a great idea to go around that corner where the B1 is looking, because there's probably TDs back there. I am a little bit surprised he didn't take any hits because he kind of came right out into the open there. But you take what you got, you react to what's actually happening on the map, and here he comes up here looking for a shot on the Chi-Ha, who happens to be behind that rock right there. I would be careful there, LP, about coming up zoomed in that much. I know you were looking for a shot on the Chi-Ha, but who knows what you were going to see up here. I suppose you could say the Panzer IIB probably would have spotted most things, but just maybe open up your aperture a little bit. We're going to come over here, see if we can find something. The B1 is moving through, so he should light anybody who's still camping on the 1-2 line right there. We're going to come across, we got a bunch of stuff stacked up down there on the 5-6 line. Su-85B is right out there in the open. He gets machine gunned by the 2 tanks. You've got the Covenator now. Come around here. He's going ahead and starting to shoot. I think he's shooting at the B2 maybe, or somebody over here, maybe the Valentine or something. Anyway, he gets eaten up. He's trying to get away. Holy cow, I'm getting rocked. You'll also notice that LP's carrying a liberal amount of gold at this level. Obviously, if you want things to go well, you're going to load up a bunch of gold. That didn't come out right. That's not exactly what I mean. But it does make shooting at other tanks a little easier because you don't have to worry so much about the bounces. Still, though, you've got to be decent. Now, Matilda is being foolish giving you his side armor, but he has such a rapid-firing gun. Standing in against him is probably not a great idea right here. I think he's going to win that DPM fight. So you wisely pull back, and now we've got a T91, Type 91, who's just sitting out in the open with his side armor. New players, don't do that. See how he's just sitting there? That's just a terrible place out in the open. Side armored everybody. Matilda has a beat on you now. You make him miss on the rock. Trying to take another shot in there and can't quite find him. So this is pretty even. Oh, hey, look, it's our Panzer B2 friend. This is something that newer players will do quite a bit, especially if they see somebody being effective. They're going to drive right up next to you and say, hey, dude, what's going on? How do you use this spot? Show me. I'm here to learn and block you and get in your way. So he gets up in there. And you can see that LP's now moving around looking for more shots. I thought he might be thinking about diving down into the bottom, but he changes his mind because the T-28 avails himself of shots. He moves forward just a little bit to come off the ridge some. T28 is shooting a couple other guys. He has a bad day. He's trying to turn around. That thing turns like a boat. It's pretty fast, but it just does not spin very well on its tracks, and he ends up going up on a rock and dying right there. And the Matilda is basically still sitting in the same spot. Pretty typical new player stuff, just kind of standing in one spot, looking at people and shooting them. And he ends up dying, trying to finally, looks like, maybe go for cover. So LP's now going to come down here, do God's work, and start looking for artillery to kill. I'm going to come through here pretty quickly. No shot. I looked at all through here. I don't think you actually had any shots, so I thought it was wise just to keep on trucking up to the ramp. We're going to come up here. We're going to find the Wasp. The Wasp? Is that a Wasp? I think that's what that means. Either way, it's dead. And now you're looking for the Priest. Oh, my son, you have sinned by playing Artie. And whack, and he gets a hit, and boom, 3 kills, 1,300. Ends up being an ace mastery for the Chi-Ha. So a couple things to learn in here for your new players, low tier kind of guys. Be careful early on. It's easy to get overwhelmed for a couple reasons. Number one, hit point pools are relatively low. Pens are pretty good overall, except for a few tanks that are very armored. You're going to get shredded by most anything that shoots at you. What that means is you can die pretty quickly if you get overextended or go to a spot where you don't have any support or aren't able to get back to support. So be careful about that. Be also careful about going to automatic kind of meta positions, because if a bunch of the new players just lose their minds and do something weird, which they're going to do because they don't really have the meta down yet, and come storming up the 1-2 line with 8 tanks, you may end up getting waxed as well. And a lot of times that kind of stuff down at this level can win the game, but you start doing that kind of stuff at higher tiers and you're going to start getting shredded. But that's not where you are. You're in a little tier 3 tank, easily shredded, and if you walk into the wrong position, you're going to be out of the game pretty quickly. So I would say that a little bit of care early on the low tiers is advisable. And break, do not turn that into I'm going to camp on the cap, because Guido said be very careful at lower tiers. That is not what I'm saying. I am saying careful aggression with a little bit more careful than aggression at the lower tiers is what I would say. All right, guys, hope you learned something. Hope you like what you saw. Nice game there. LP Ace Masteries are always fun. And as always, we will see you.